Beautiful. Thank you, Randy. I have to find a clean one as well, so I'll put it. Here we go. Thank you. Brings you to tears, doesn't it? So beautiful. There we go. All better now. And in that light, and in that vein of light, our talk today is on love, the stuff of God. Before I begin, I have to read you a letter. Dear John, I haven't been able to sleep since we broke up. I hope you'll forgive me. My heart is broken and I miss you so much. I was a fool and I want you back. I really love you. Chris. XOXOXO. Oh, P.S. Congratulations, so glad you won the lottery. That's true love, right? No, we know love is much, much more. Love is the stuff of God. Love is the universe, that stuff of God. Black elk. A national treasure and Native American. He said this, and while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw. For I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in the spirit, and the shapes of all shapes as they must live together like one being. Love is swirling. It is everywhere. I have to tell you a brief story. When I first moved here, I couldn't get over all the dust. And I worked with this guy. He was so nice to us. I gave him a nickname of Big Sugar. He was so sweet. He still gets called that to today. What reminds me of this is when if you've ever, you all live here, so I know you've seen this. You walk through the room, and the sun is shining, and you see yourself or the person who's walked before you in the dust mote, playing in the light. And that's just the dust. Imagine God's love everywhere we walk, swirling, shifting, flowing, growing, uplifting, radiating, expanding. Love is like an orchestral conductor moving and shaping in the quantum soup, the energy, the music, the love. And like the artist, communing her or his mind's eye with the cosmos to manifest his or her desire in this world. And love is us. I had a spiritual teacher, and early on, a spiritual teacher. I was quite young. And he told me, he said, you know, I'd rather feel sad than nothing at all. And I had felt so much sadness already that I really had nothing to do with sadness. And I just said, Carl, I don't understand. What are you talking about? How can you even say that? He said, think about it. What if you felt nothing? What if you felt nothing at all? And I gave him that. I wasn't quite sure I was going to completely agree with him, but of course now I do. Now we can understand that, to feel nothing, but we don't. We feel lots of things. We are feeling beings, and love is us. Our carbon-based life forms, the universes in our minds, the oceans of feelings and sensations, the limitless evolutions of our capabilities. And love is now, this moment, you in your chair, where your feet and hands are. Myrtle Fillmore, how do you like my pointer today? Oh, my husband loves it. Not. Your heart is and always will, says Myrtle. Your heart is and always will be right with God. It is the throne of love, and God is love. Can you follow this logic? If God is love and God is everything, then love is everyone, every what, every when, everywhere, every why, every how. Love is life-giving, uplifting, healing, and empowering. Love is life-giving. Think of a plant that is just looks like it's about to go, and you bring water and you give it water, and you talk to it in loving tones, and maybe you even pet it or touch it somehow, and it perks up. Love is life-giving, like a downcast child who perks up when given the gift of life, of our time, of our compassion and our love. Eric Butterworth, a well-known name in the Unity Church and movement, he said this: "Under the sustaining influence of love, the physical body is always at its best. It is probably true that more people are sick from lack of love in their lives than from any other causes put together. Like a friend or a mate who gets our undivided, phone-free, focused attention. Love is life-giving. And love is healing. Love is empowering. Love is empowering us through our confidence, our faith, and our courage. Another really cool guy, his name is Dr. Leo Buscaglia. How many remember Dr. Love? He was known as the Doctor of Love. He says this: he was a professor of special education at the University of Southern California. And he was a great speaker. You may have seen him on PBS a dozen times at least. And you can see him on YouTube today if you want to go find him and listen to him. He still cracks you up, right, kid?
Yes.
You have the choice, he says. You can choose joy over despair, happiness over tears, action over apathy, growth over stagnation. Yes, love is empowering. Love is powerful. Are you feeling lackadaisical, blasé? Are you listening and watching intellectually through your filter of your intellect? I'm going to ask you to remember a time when you were falling in love. And I'm not talking about a crush. I'm talking about the head over heels kind. Can you remember? Are you feeling it a little bit? Nervous. We were nervous. Skin prickling, tingling, maybe blushing. Literally vibrating with energy, and we were afraid that other people could see it from the outside looking at us. Exuding pheromones. Maybe we had tightness in our throats, shaky hands, sweating hands, or other places. Increased heart rate, butterflies in our stomachs. And we were smiling and nicer to everyone. Yes, there's a powerful physicality of love, but there's also powerful emotions of love. Can you remember? Do you feel it now? Passion, bliss. We are joyful and happy. We have the glasses full perspective. Constantly looking forward when we're going to see our loved one again. Grateful. We see life through rose-colored, schmarmy lenses. And we feel like we're in our own romance movie. Yes, love is powerful. Think about how you shook. Holy mackerel! This is not a panic attack. This love is powerful. They could hook us up to the power grid. Am I right? Because when we're feeling that much love and that's coursing through our bodies, that's how much energy we're putting out. Love is powerful. And the spirituality of love is powerful too. The spiritual nurturing of love. I want to bring your attention to a man, if you may remember him, M. Scott Peck. He wrote the bestseller, The Road Less Traveled. And this is what he said about loving someone. Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. I love you, and I'm going to honor and nurture your spiritual growth. This is what we're saying to our loved ones. This is what we're saying to our worlds. Again, Dr. Buscaglia, he said this about spiritual freedom. Think about spiritual freedom. A loving relationship is one in which the loved one is free to be himself, to laugh with me, but never at me, to cry with me, but never because of me, to love life, to love himself, to love being loved. Such a relationship is based on freedom and can never grow in a jealous heart. Spiritual freedom, powerful part of love. And spiritual power of being open, having open hearts. Our hearts are open. Remember we talked about being open instead of contracted, open and expanding. Marianne Williamson, who said this. She wrote a book on love, Return to Love. She wrote several books, but I want to say that one had love in the title. And you may have read this. She says this, though, it's a quote, "Every time we open our hearts, we create the space for a global alternative." So we're moving from spiritually nurturing ourselves and another loved one to our worlds, to a global alternative. I say, be the love you want to attract. Be the person you want to attract. Love is not of this world. Let me say that again because I messed that up. Love of this world. Love is not... I really mean to say this so you'll get it really well, okay? Love not of this world is of this world. Love never dies. Well, of course not. Because God is love. Remember our equation? Our love for those who have gone before us continues, as does the love they shared while they were here physically. Love this stuff of the universe, the infinite. There's no beginning and no ending. So all that love, all that energy, all that swirling, expanding, radiating love, it doesn't end. We still have it. We still grow it. We still channel it. Our loved ones, as well as us, are parts of that infinite everyone. So let's talk about love on the earth plane. Agape, or unconditional love, is transcendental. Are we looking for love? If we're looking for love, we need to choose the real thing. Not Coke, but the real thing. Choosing love in every facet of our lives. We use discernment. Again, that healthy balance of intuition and wisdom. And we are selective. Say, for example, you go for a job interview. We're taking God with us, because of course God is everywhere. We're interviewing for God, because we want to know, is this the best place, the best way for me to shine my light and channel God's love? These are the questions we ask in interviews and other aspects of our lives. And we feel the love, like that falling over head over heels love. We want to court our world. Does that sound funny? Court our world. My father never knew a stranger didn't know. I have to say, he did things like, he had a full-time job and he was a musician, so he worked at the USDA research station during the day in Salinas, California, and he played all up and down that central northern California coast, weekends and nights. Somehow he found time to, in the love of his heart, to help people he didn't even know maybe. A waitress that he met and found out that their family's heater was out in the winter, and he would find a way and some time to go fix it. He took young musicians, even older musicians under his wing. And not just for teaching tips on music, but to help them perhaps get over some addictions or some hard times in their lives. This is courting love. This is bringing that energy, that beautiful energy that we have, and bringing it to every aspect of our lives as we meet people, and the people that we know, of course. And we nurture our love in this world. There's a fellow I mentioned before, his name is Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he wrote this book called The Honeymoon Effect. The Honeymoon Effect, the science of creating heaven on earth. And so what I'm saying is that what we want to do is find our way that we're nurturing this head over heels love, this beautiful energy that's so real. You know it was so real, it was shaking you. You were so afraid other people were going to see it. And bring it to our world, nurture our world throughout our lives, not just when we're in love with one person. We are channelers. We are the channelers, the directors, and the sharers of love. So how open are we as conduits for healing, for compassion, even and especially in boundary enforcing tough love situations? We are channelers, directors, and sharers of creativity, the love through our creativity, and every and all manners of life. Now let's talk about self-love. Remember the oxygen mask priority? You want to take that oxygen mask and put it on yourself so you don't pass out before the passenger or the child next to you. You can't help them if you're all conked out. So this is not what we want. We want to take care of ourselves first. Charge our batteries. And I'm not talking about just basics. This self-love that is what determines our self-love. Think about this. Our self-love determines the conduit capacity that we have to share the love of God in this world. So how open are we to enable that flow of love? I'd like to tell you about this barometer that I like to call it, the traffic barometer. This will give you a feeling of how your conduit is, how far it's open or how closed is it. You're in the traffic and someone cuts you off, or someone is going slow, or someone is going fast, whatever it is, they're doing something that we don't like. Okay? So it may be frustrating, but we can open our conduit and we can say, hey, let's let some of this love flow out. Maybe they just spilled coffee on their lap. Ouch. Or maybe they're hurrying because they've heard someone they love is very, very sick and they have to get to them. Or there's been a situation that's occurred and they're hurrying. No, they shouldn't be speeding, but they are. And we're opening our heart to the possibilities of understanding. The possibilities of understanding. And this is what we call the barometer effect. And I call it the traffic barometer effect. And I also like to say, and I can't remember who I heard this from first, many years ago, is that we are not the God of the road. But we are the God, we are the openness of our own God, the God within us. How open is our conduit, our channel of God's love and understanding in this world. Now back to good self-care, and I'd like to bring up that spiritual maintenance that we talk about. It's critical to ourselves as channelers, directors, and sharers of God's love. And yes, we have the basics first. Food, shelter, and water. And I say, everyone says, oh yeah, everybody knows that. Do we? Do we not get obsessed and forget to drink our water? Do we not get busy and forget, hey, maybe we could pray today, or we could meditate today? It's been a few weeks, no, been a few days. Let's see, it's been a while. So we want to remember our basics, even so, we want to stretch, we want to exercise, we want to do all the basics. But we also want to bring ourselves higher than the basics, don't we? We want to aim higher. We want to thrive. Our thriving is the expression of God's love. So yes, we want the basics, and we want to make sure we're covered, but we also want more in life. We want to thrive. This love is manifested on every level of our beings, including this physical world. So again, I'd like to remind you, love is the stuff of the universe. Love is God. Love is gifting, life-giving and gifting, uplifting, healing, and empowering. Love is powerful, infusing us with God's vitality and timeless vigor. Love is not of this world. Love not of this world is of this world. We are conduits of love on this earth plane, and we choose love through our thoughts, words, and actions. TWA. TWA, not just TW, but thoughts, words, and actions. We choose love. We choose joy, passion, bliss, gratitude, happiness, compassion. We choose love. Let's prepare for meditation. Wiggle a little bit, get yourselves comfortable. Know where your feet and hands are. We feel this love of God as it surrounds us and enfolds us and settles around our feet. And as we relax and allow ourselves to be open, we feel the healing energy of love, God's loving, healing energy, relaxing and healing every cell, every aspect of our feet. Feel them warm with the energy. Feel the energy now as it moves into our ankles, allowing beautiful flexibility. Sharing this love up our legs, up our calves, and into our knees, increasing our flexibility, freeing us. We are open to the healing and loving energy. This love, this healing light moves up our thighs and into our hips, freeing us, bringing joy with every step we take in our day. Feel now as this energy moves into the base of our spines and into our lower torso, healing us and soothing us. Know that every cell, every tissue, every organ, everyone happy, is very happy to do its job. This love, this happiness, this joy, a healing energy, now moving up our spine and into our upper abdomen, relaxing our diaphragms and filling our lungs and centering into our heart. Feel our compassion for ourselves and everyone grow. Feel this loving, healing energy expand and move into our shoulders, where we let go of all those things that do not belong to us, where we let go of all those responsibilities that do not belong to us, and feel that beautiful, relieving energy, healing, relaxing us there. Now into our shoulders, muscles, and into our necks. This beautiful, loving energy, expressing in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions. Relaxing our throats so that only the highest and best just leaves our mouths. And into our face, washing over our face and over our scalp. So this loving, healing energy of God surrounds us from the tips of our toes to the tops of our heads and continues to expand to the person sitting next to you and next to them until this entire sanctuary is filled with love. This building, this town, the borderland, our state, the country, our continent, our world, this healing, loving energy touching every needful place, healing every needful thing, without exception. This loving, healing light of God touching everything and everywhere, every place, everyone, every wind. Feel this loving, healing energy. And bring it back. Bring it back to here, to our here and now, to our sanctuary here, to each other, to ourselves, to our hands and feet, where we know we are right here, sitting in this chair, here in this place. Thank you, God. Thank you, love. Amen.
Alleluia. 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 Alleluia.